Hey, can I do this? Can I do what's it called, a simulcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to 8192 The Truth. It's Joel D. Supernal, and we're going to do a pod.
We're going to do a pod. For them to know that. For them to know that they had to click on your podcast link.
Look at these things, Jacob.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What,
My God. Oh my God. Did you guys win these in a contest?
I found
Have
them
you
in
ever
the drawer.
You found them in the drawer. You found them.
Why do you give Jacob a hard time? He's like us. He just shows up.
Here. I love these. I don't like that.
Yeah, Jacob
That's
didn't
me.
get the company credit card and go down and order you old stuff.
I've never changed Chael's.
Well, I know
you've
never. I know this. I know this. All right.
But you love those.
I love these. But these don't even sound like a. All right.
So Joel, I'm gonna just focus on this read, and when I introduce you, if you could take us somewhere,
Okay.
anywhere you want to go. Don't forget about that Canelo thing. That seems pretty hot.
I got a whole page here.
There you go.
For Brother Sin. I like the thing I had before.
The thing.
Nothing.
Oh.
Where'd you come up on the gum?
My pocket. I only have one piece. Sorry.
Okay, so when you were going through the gum wrapper, the gum itself, it wasn't the last piece of gum. You pulled out a gum and you put it in your pocket.
Yep.
You drank your coffee. You talked on the phone.
All true.
Where was I when this happened? Were you in the house? Was I
grabbed it
waiting
out of
for
the
you?
truck.
Oh. Okay, cool. Good.
Jacob, I'm ready when you are.
Oh, yes, good. Absolutely.
Ready?
Just noticed something. Perfect.
What's happening, guys? Happy Friday. And thank you for joining us for another special episode of Your Welcome. You know, I'm going to go ahead and make an assumption. You guys like saving money, right? Well, save some cash at the supermarket. Go save some cash at the department store. All good feelings. There are so many opportunities to be smart with your money and to save. But right now I'm going to tell you how you can save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. And the best part is you can do it right from home. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on your car insurance. Extra money in your pocket. It may be the most rewarding thing you get to do today.
When I told you, Jacob, I need to apologize.
Hello, Joel.
I need to apologize. When I told you, Jacob, that I would snap and drag you if you talked on my microphone, what I meant to say is if you talked on any microphone, I would snap. And once the snap is done, because I had a lot of questions, it's all over at the snap. The snap, it's all over, and then the drag is just me looking at Chael P. and Chael P. looking at me saying, where are we going to bury this one at? Where does this one go? All right, sorry, Jacob, but again, if you talk on my microphone again, I'm going to snap you.
Welcome to the show, Joel.
Well, they get so happy when I go hot. They just get so happy, and I'm being a bully. I'm picking on Jacob because I don't know his name.
Dylan.
If I knew Dylan's name, trust me, I'd be all over his dumb ass too for showing up at 10:31. Like if you had this job and this opportunity and you were an intern, you would roll in and you'd have everything done. What is this? The dummy generation we're on? what's it called? The millennials?
Millennials?
The millennials. And I think both you knuckleheads are a part of it. So,
dummy
let's
That's somewhat funny.
Let's get into
all right, I still
some
feel
podding.
like I haven't introduced you, but your arrogance has taken over that people will just recognize your voice, so let's roll with it, because you're probably right.
Well, of course. Who else is going to come in
And
hot?
do a snap and drag.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to come in hot? Hi, Chael. Thanks for being on the show. You're one of my favorites, man. This is really cool, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm so blessed and everything to be with you, and I gotta thank God for this. Okay? It's a podcast. Let's dance.
All right. Hey, wait, before you go, and please, I won't cut you off again. Jacob, I do have to ask you. What am I going to ask you, you prick? You know what I'm going to. You know what I'm going to. You're getting ready to lie. I can see it in your face. Did you do your yoga?
Not today.
Moving on. Hey, at least you're consistent, though, right? Isn't that what you told me on Wednesday? At least you're consistent with skipping?
Yeah.
All right. Will you do it today? We'll never know. There'll be no way to find out.
No comment on that one.
There'll be no way to ever know, because I won't see you again until next Wednesday, and by then I will have forgot about Friday's workout. I, on the other hand, did. I am also consistent. What do you think of that?
Congratulations.
Does that impress you?
It does.
Like, do you look at me right now and go, I wish I was like him, and I did do it. It's already behind.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, because it's behind me. See, it sucks to do any kind of thing like exercise, but boy, when it's done, you feel good. And the only way you can get to that good feeling is to push through that, do I really want to do this? So you envy me a little bit. Is that fair that you envy that I got my 18 minutes in?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, great. That means something to me. I was like,
all right.
I
don't know what little butt grab program we just had. I'm assuming you guys got some yoga thing going on for DDP, and we love DDP, so good for that. But let's actually talk about something that makes these guys want to listen if I shut up.
Take over the show.
All right. Triple G.
All right.
And Canelo.
Yep.
This is beautiful. It comes out about a month ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Canelo is busted for a failed
drug test.
At which time, I quit reading thinking that fight's over.
Yep.
That's not true.
Correct. Do you want me to explain that to you?
Yeah, here's a softball.
Yeah.
That's a softball.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'll explain to the listeners that as you and I were waiting to get set up in here, we were watching Jim Rome's show, and Rome was doing an entire piece and going off on this. So I think that's probably influenced why you brought that up. But yeah, so I thought the same thing. I was doing Luke Thomas's show, and Luke says to me, hey, did you see this breaking news? But Canelo failed his test. No, I didn't see that. I said, is the fight going to still happen? He said, yes, because it was a VADA test, not a commission, not a sanctioned test. Now, and he asked, what do you think about that? And the first thing I thought, and I still think, is why in the hell would you ever sign up for VADA? VADA, the V in VADA, is volunteer. So you're volunteering to put yourself at risk. And most guys hang their hat on that from a psychological standpoint of, well, I have nothing to hide. Yeah, that may be true, but it's very bad business to put yourself at risk, plain and simple. You do not give yourself exposure. Now, when you're being tested by the government and per the contract and for everything that is in regulation with the fight, that's enough. These guys then volunteered for some reason. How a volunteer agency stays afloat, I don't know, other than pressuring guys and go, well, don't you want the people to know? But that's the miss, is I didn't even know they were in VADA. So that's the trade-off of signing up. VADA likes to come to you with this make-believe that you're going to get a pat on the back and be a good little Boy Scout. The reality is they're a broke company that has absolutely no PR arm, and they never disclose anything positive. You only get the bad news. So my point being this, if I haven't made it clear enough to you, guys that are in VADA and are passing the test do not get that psychological pat on the back from the fans that they took that extra step. Fans don't even understand what that means. Nobody even knew the V in VADA stood for volunteer until I just said it 5 seconds ago. And ultimately, there is no PR arm from this broke-ass organization that gives a guy a pat on the back, so why anybody would offer to put themselves at risk is silly. As far as Canelo getting busted, I've told you this a million times. I can take one look at a guy, and I can tell you everything that he's doing. Everything. Not just the things he was caught. I can tell you everything, but I won't do it. I won't do it until he gets caught. then it's game on. So as far as what he got caught for of the clomiphene, he's doing 2 other things that they did not catch. So he should just be glad that he went down on the clomiphene. And he owes no explanation. If the fight's not in jeopardy, let it go.
Here's where I'm confused. If the test doesn't matter, why are you taking a test? Because he failed the test, and they said, well, it's the meat. Oh, okay, it's the meat. Canelo said it's the meat. Oscar, did you hear that? Yeah, it was the meat. Let's call the Nevada Athletic Commission, who used to be a bunch of crooks. Maybe they're not all crooks now, but they hold the UFC and Bellator under some pretty strict guidelines. I never have heard of a fighter, a cage fighter, failing, you can call it an out of competition test, and then fighting in the next event. I've never heard that. So my question to you is, if the test doesn't matter, A, why the hell take it? And B, if you have a $100 million fight, which that is, they're real close to it anyway, why can't you put a blanket on this thing so we're not talking about it right now?
Yeah, so boy, where do I attack that from? I mean, I think you just proved the point that I made. It is very ridiculous that they would sign up for VADA. I also have not, and I can't offer you any explanation on this, I also have never heard of a test not mattering. I've never heard of that. There was another boxer, Berto, that went down on the same thing, and it did cancel his fight, and he got suspended for it. So that part is probably a black and white issue that would require a little research, and I have not done it. But that did also make my feathers go up and go, wait a minute, how was there a test, but it did not have a bearing on the contest? I don't know the answer.
All right, so what I watched was a week ago, Canelo was like, I don't care. He was jacked up last time. Yeah, I beat him last time. I'm going to knock him out this time. That was a week ago. Well, something happened within this last week that changed his vernacular. He now said you were saw stuff last time, and I could see the heroin, the marks, like he was a heroin addict, like he was mainlining steroids. Like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But something happened to his attitude, and it could only be one or two things. It could only be one thing: money. Something happened. He figured, okay, I'm going to squeeze these guys for another million, another point or something. And they said, listen, Canelo, or listen,
Triple G.
Listen, Triple G, we hold all the cards. Canelo is way more popular than you. He's so much more popular than you. Our response to that is, if you want out of the fight, just say it. We'll find somebody else. And that is true. They could replace Triple G with one of these two monkeys and still do real good numbers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've got it right. You've got it right on every side. Triple G's pushback was just a negotiation. That is true. And they are also right to say, hey, we'll go ahead and sell with Alvarez, and we still got a month to do it. So speak your piece now or sit down and shut up. Yeah, I mean, that is how that meeting's going to go. You're right. It's going to be pretty straightforward on both sides. One side is bluffing. I do not agree with them that they could find anybody and do the business that they could with Triple G. Canelo is much more popular, but Triple G is plenty popular. Rematches do great. So there is some bluffing and some blinking going on at that table. But yes, it is pretty obvious what is happening on both sides. And Triple G is right just to his point of, look, man, it's nothing new. You were juiced the first time, you're juiced this time. On the marks, on the track marks, and Jim Rome did make a big piece on this. What is unfortunate about that is when you are drug tested by a commission, by VADA, by USADA, I mean, go through the list, that's what they do. They take it right out of your vein right there. So if they just tested you, or if you were to have some kind of a rehydration, there would make no sense for him to do that, but fighters are a bunch of dum-dums that are trained by a bunch of even bigger dum-dums. And I could see where they would bring mid-camp and go, okay, let's give the guy the appropriate amount of rehydration. Either way, they're poking a needle right there where Jim Rome was showing it, right into that vein of your arm. So, yeah, he could have had some bruising or some marks from that. It does not constitute heroin use. It constitutes, most likely, that he was just recently drug tested.
Yeah, that fight it's going to be the exact same fight as last time, except I think Triple G will probably get him out of there. So this is just a payday.
Did they assign... Do you know the answer to this? Jacob and I talked about this about a month ago, but we actually didn't know the answer. Did they assign Adelaide Bird to that?
No, I couldn't imagine
They haven't assigned any judges yet, right? That's probably coming in the coming weeks. I don't think she's been assigned. She was just put back into Nevada, and that fight was announced. And people made the misconception that she was assigned to that fight. I don't think that's accurate.
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand. Look, who is running the joint when you have her judge anything? I mean, I don't understand who is in charge of judging fights when somebody is so incompetent. She could be incompetently right. She could judge a fight right and still be just as incompetent based on her history of getting things wrong.
What does that mean, incompetently right?
All right, let's say she judged. What's been a good close fight lately? Anything come to mind? Alvarez and Gaethje before the end
stoppage.
Of
okay.
Before the stoppage, that was a real close fight, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's say the fight before that, she had it 100% wrong. She gave the Tennessee screw job to somebody, and she somehow had the next one right. She's just as dumb. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
No, I don't. I like the commentary, but you are. I'm lost a little bit.
I'm lost. I'm lost too.
I don't know that I have to know.
I'm trying to transition to something else, and I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
You're still an interrupter.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Old Kansas didn't take that old interruption trait from you, did it?
You know, you look like your son when you smile like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Handsome young man right there.
He is a handsome young man.
All right, what else you got? You got some more notes. Let's move on.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was talking about.
What was the line you used? Incompetently right?
Incompetently right. It just happened.
I feel like those terms are mutually exclusive, but it doesn't matter. Let's move on. What else you got? You got a whole chart in front of you.
I think that if I run out, I just pick on Jacob.
But I can't pick on you. You know, if I pick
yes,
on you...
you can pick on me.
No, Trina gives me a hard time. Trina hates it. Sends me a text message, says, I hate when you bully Joel.
Good for you, Trina.
Pick on the buffoon. Or, no, the baboon. The good one. The one you like to be called.
Neither one of those.
Barbarian.
There you go. Right. Neither one of those. All right.
Poke the barbarian. That's what she said.
This show, it used to be, I don't know what it is now, an MMA show. You have guests, and then you talk about professional fighting.
Sure.
Or professional wrestling.
Right.
I actually watched the WWE. And it's been so bad for so long, I can only go back a little bit at a time. I told you about this last week, and it just keeps getting bad. Braun Strowman, won a tag team Royal Rumble. He took out the 8 top teams on the Raw roster, and he wins the tag team championship.
Wasn't it 6 because he beat 12 guys or something?
Okay, he took out 6 teams.
Yeah, I think that's right. 6 teams, 12 guys.
Perfect.
Wins the tag team battle, whatever.
What do you do with that? If a guy can beat up, if Braun Strowman can beat up 12 professional wrestlers, nobody on this planet can beat Braun Strowman.
Right.
In anything.
You burn 12 guys to put over 1.
Yeah, and like if you need to do something like that, you need to fire yourself. This is who was the dummy that used to write for him that you'd have on your show?
Vince Russo.
Okay, not that guy. The guy that came on your show.
John P. Marini.
There you go. All right. So even he could do a better job than writing than what I've seen lately. So you got this. You got that. And then now.
Why did John have to take a bump just now?
I just thought of him because he wasn't he a writer?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I mean, it is so bad that even he could do a better job.
He did it again. Go ahead.
Okay. So they have that, which you could do nothing with. What are you going to... How does that guy lose? How does Sheamus and Cesaro, who are the tag team champions, So they're making him get a partner. It could be me. And if he can already beat 12 guys by himself, how can he lose that match?
Adding a partner to it, right. He can grab a diva in the back. It still strengthens his team, which is apparently better than the 6 others that they could bring out for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's horrible, and they're running that great.
That is a great point. I wouldn't have thought about it in those terms. This was very simplistic, but you're right.
So you have that, which is bad. I would love to. You got me hooked on the Jim Cornette show. I can't wait to hear his opinion of that.
He's going to be pissed.
He's going to, and he's actually a guy in the business that can talk the talk. Because those guys had to go out and job. There was 12 guys that had to go out and job for this guy. So now you have that, and now they're building Roman Reigns again. You can tell what's going on. Brock's coming back to the UFC. He's fulfilling his contract, and he's going to put Roman over at WrestleMania. You could see this from a mile away. So they're bringing in Roman every week to talk about he's the big dog in the yard, and he shows up on time, and Brock's not there. The fans are booing him. Like the worst thing you can do in the world as an employee is not show up. Like nobody wants somebody to get promoted that doesn't show up. And they can't even get him over. They can't even get Roman over. The writing's so bad, they have Roman arrested and handcuffed 2 nights ago. He then beats up 3 federal marshals or 3 cops. Then Brock comes in, beats up him while he's handcuffed. And then the marshal, he's committed a crime. He's going to prison forever. He just beat up 3 people on national TV. They just moved on. They just transitioned to the next part was, oh my God, Brock beat up Roman. And I'm like, this is the worst. This is the worst product I've seen in years. The only thing that can save him is I think Ronda will save him. I think Ronda will save WrestleMania.
You think so?
I do.
Well, we'll find out. I've always disagreed. There is an answer, so it's not up for my opinion. But I have always disagreed that Roman isn't over. And I know they keep saying he's not, and his mic skills suck, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, first off, I don't think they suck. He's not The Rock, but none of them are. I don't think his mic skills suck. He's very handsome. He's the right age. And he can wrestle. And he has the power of the office, the most important thing you can have in wrestling. The office wants him to be the star because they see you're the right age, you're a good-looking guy, and you can wrestle. They see that. I don't agree that he's not over. He has headlined some mega events. He came out here to Portland over a month ago. My father-in-law, Steve, went to it. House show. Said the place was packed. They were thrilled that they got Roman, the house. Even he was talking about it for like a week later. It's like, oh, man, it was great. They brought everything. They had Roman Reigns came to town without even cameras here. I mean, they really popped for him. So that's just my little nucleus, but that's what I feel. I feel something when he walks out. I'm not sitting up all day Monday looking forward to him walking out like, say, when the glass used to break and Stone Cold would hit the ramp. But again, talking about once-in-a-lifetime attractions when I bring up The Rock and Stone Cold. So I just don't agree that Roman isn't over. That's interesting what you said. If Brock is looking for leverage, and he is, right? He likes to boost those contracts up. One way to demote that leverage is to have Roman pin him clean. I just don't know that I agree with you that he won't get a contract worked out in time, and part of it secures the fact that he beats Roman at WrestleMania. We'll see what happens there. Don't forget, Brock Lesnar cannot return to MMA for about 14 months. He has an 8-month suspension that he must fulfill. He then has to do 6 months in the USADA pool. Most guys are 4 months you read about because he's a past offender. He has to do 6. The only question is, and there's an answer to this, it would just require one more level of research. I haven't done it. Can he run those concurrent? If so, he's out for 8 months. If he comes in today with a signed contract in the UFC, he's not in the ring for 8 months. That's a best case. I believe he has to serve all 14, but I will admit that's without looking into it. So the point is, it's not just jumping back. He's 41 now. He'll be almost 43 before he gets in there, and he will have to fight clean for the first time in his career. I don't know that I'm going to buy that as much as I'm going to sell.
As beautiful as his contract is, as a fan, you watch Brock shows up once a month. He doesn't show up that much. Heyman's his mouthpiece. He doesn't even talk that much. He comes in, throws somebody around, and leaves. He's got a good gig. He's still got to go to the airport. He's got to fly somewhere. He's got to be gone away from home. It seems like that's a guy that would rather just be out in the farm forever, but he likes making that cheese. I think the new dynamics of mixed martial arts, the way the pay-per-views come together, the way the entertainment company is coming together, the lack of stars that the UFC is not producing, I think he could sit out, come back, make one more fight, and never have to do either one of them again. I think he could make $15 or $20 million.
Ooh, wow, that surprised me. His biggest pay ever. He's seen over 5 million, but it was 5.2 or something, 5.3. It's his biggest ever. The game is changing a little bit. The sport's changing. Maybe they would do that, but you'd have to check the landscape. He would be out, minimum of 8 months, but I think it's 14. And you're right. He's a big draw. He can still get. I don't see 15. If you could, I see 5 being more likely. He gets 5 in the WWE right now. He only has to show up, like you said, very rarely. I think it's 12 appearances a year, which is once a month. I could be wrong on that. He gets a private jet, by the way. He doesn't have to go to the airport and do that whole thing. It's a private jet, and still hates it. So in that 14 months that he would be sitting, and that's another thing. Why do people keep saying he has to sit out? He never had to before. Vince said, "I'll give you Brock. I kept him under contract."
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I'll let him go do his training camp and walk out there on the off chance that he wins, and I've still got him under contract. And then Dana has been reciprocal with that. Gave him Ronda. Ronda's still under UFC contract, but Dana has also come out and said, yes, I would give them Conor. I don't think that's something Conor wants to do, but I would do it. So Dana has been reciprocal. So I don't know quite where the narrative of Brock is playing them against each other to get one or the other. It's like, I don't see that. In the past, he's been able to do both. So I think he would just do both now.
Well, that's a really good point, because now with Ronda coming over, I think, or I know by just listening to people talk, is way more, like 95% more of the fighters, whether it's, Paige Van Zandt just said, I'd love to work with those guys. More fighters would like to be professional wrestlers than professional wrestlers going doing the real thing. I hadn't even thought about it, but there could be a way to do that.
Well, but it's already been done. This is the one thing that people do keep missing, is they keep saying that Brock is playing one against the other because he has a past of doing that. I get that. I agree. There is no power in a negotiation unless you have leverage, unless you have somewhere else to go. Your opportunity cost is whatever I say your opportunity cost is, unless you have an opportunity cost elsewhere. Okay, that's pretty basic. We get that. The problem I do have with that narrative, and I think I'm missing, I don't like to miss anything. I like to be the smartest guy in the room, but I think I am missing something here, because he is doing that. That's obvious, or apparent at least. But historically speaking, if I go back to UFC 200, Vince still had him tied up, and he gave him a one-off to Dana. And a lot of people miss this point, too. Dana had a contract with Brock. Dana's the one that let him go back to Vince. So when Dana decided to use him at UFC 200, he didn't have to go in and kiss the ring and work out some deal. It was actually Dana that was being the generous one in the first place. Not just to Vince, but he wanted to do what was right by the athlete. What's best for Brock as a Dana never gets credit for that. It's only Dick Dana. People don't understand that he looks out for the person first. What's best for Brock? Brock, tell me straight up, privately. But what do you want to do? Hey, you know what, Dana? I want to go bounce around in the ring a little bit. Have Paul Heyman do my talking for me. Rub some baby oil on me. Collect $5 million. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So I guess what I'm saying is those guys have always worked together, and they've had simultaneous contracts. So I just don't know that I am buying that Brock is trying to leverage one against the other as much as just, hey, let me boost my fame because I have a contract negotiation coming up. You're paying me $5 million plus a private jet. I'd like $6 million. What do you think?
Well, you got a lot of different points there. The fight, the making me the president of the UFC and the WWE is he stays. I like that. He stays in the WWE. Stipe beats your boy DC this summer, and then you promote that fight. You promote Stipe versus Brock for 14 months.
Okay. I mean, that works. What you're saying works. It's a little bit uncommon because they usually, announce a fight and promote it for 3 to 4 and then go do it. In Brock's case, listen, you go outside the lanes. Brock has never fit within the lanes. He's an anomaly. He's a once-in-a-lifetime attraction. I'm not disagreeing with any of it as much as I'm just making you aware of the fact that Brock owes USADA 8 months. No way around that. He then has to do 6 months in the pool because he's a past offender. No way around that. Can he run those concurrent? And if he can, now you've got 8 months. Well, that goes by pretty fast. That does go by pretty fast. You don't make an announcement. You wait a couple of months. You let him train. You let him get in a little bit of shape. Now you got about 6 months left. You roll him into ESPN. You make the big announcement. And you roll out into the fight. It works. I'm not saying because of this USADA roadblock that it stops him. I think that it does still work. I just think it does force me to go, 41 years old, it'll be about 43 by then. I'm going to short it. I just don't think that it's as likely. But Brock is a competitor. In his heart, he wants to go out and compete. And he would fight Stipe. I think it's more likely, you saw Ngannou call him out. I think if you're doing the fight today, what are you going to sit down at the table and get Brock to go, you know what, I do like that. I think that makes some sense. I think Ngannou makes some sense.
You make a point that I have to disagree with you. I know you love Uncle Dana and you guys got a good relationship, but when you say he protects fighters, man, there isn't anybody out there. If Frankie Edgar is going to come back and fight next month against a killer who's Cub Swanson, man, that's a bad idea. He just got knocked out. He just got knocked out for the first time in his life with an elbow. And everybody that loves him is saying, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because Frankie wants to get back in there as soon as possible. Man, when you get knocked out, there's something that happens inside your head. You don't need to go do it 12 weeks later, even if they'll let you. So, he might be looking out for the superstars, but if he lets old Frankie get in the cage, and it'll probably work out great for Frankie, but it's not something I would say go ahead and do.
Yeah, but hold on, I don't think that you're refuting my point. My point was real simple, that he will ask the guy, what do you want to do? I'm not going to go stick it in Vince's ass or help Vince. I'm not even looking at Vince. But I am looking at you, Brock. What is it you'd like to do? Share with me. Oh, you want to go back there? Okay, let's make that happen. So I think that would extend over to Frankie. Frankie, what do you want to do? Dane, I want to get back in there. I can't sleep at night. That one's killing me. I can't believe I lost that fight. I want to get back on track as quick as I can. I'm in shape. I'm not getting any younger. Throw me in there.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think, but it's the same point. I will agree with you on this, though, Joel. That fight surprises me. Cub versus Frankie, they already did it once. It wasn't a blockbuster draw. It's not going to be this time. They're killed. Those are two freaking... Cub Swanson's a straight-up badass. Frank Edgar is my favorite fighter. I don't need to see it again. I don't mind seeing it again. I'll tune in and watch it. Happy to do it. But I did kind of scratch my head and go, now why are they doing it again?
Well, and it kills one of them.
It does kill one of them.
If it's Cub, I think that's 3 in a row, and that's not good. And if it's Frankie, that's definitely not good because he beat you before.
Cub was actually on a good little streak, and he lost to Ortega. But I get your point. Yeah, that one just kind of lost me. Why are we doing this one again? They worked really hard to get Yoel and Whitaker back in there again. Again, I'm fine with the fight. If it's on tonight, I'm watching it tonight, clearing my schedule. It bombed the first time. That fight bombed. Record low numbers. What was the big hustle to do that one again?
Man, I can't believe the numbers that they've been doing. I talk about it on my show that, man, Randy used to do those numbers before The Ultimate Fighter, 350. And the big guns are, that's a good card now. So going into Chicago, they're going to have to They're going to have to bring old CM Punk out.
But is that totally fair? I mean, nobody knows what those pay-per-view numbers are. You know, back when I was in on the paper and I would see those, it wasn't what got disclosed. And Dave Meltzer was the closest, but Dave Meltzer was never right. Not at all. He was the closest of the projections, but they are just that. They're projections. You know, what are the numbers we can actually see where we know for sure? We know for sure what the numbers are. Well, you've got television ratings. We can look at those. And then you've got the live gate. Man, those houses are full. Bellator, UFC, any way you want to do it, man, they're filling those arenas up. So I do keep hearing about this decline in MMA. I know what some sponsors are paying. I know roughly what Reebok's paying. I knew exactly what Jamie Salter was paying when he had Tap Out in there because Jamie told me. The numbers for sponsors are more expensive now. And sponsors base what they're going to pay off of how many eyeballs are watching. So we've got some major mixed signals there. We have some real indicators that the sport's at a height, even though our own media continues to say it's at a low. And it's just a little bit tough, I mean, on those pay-per-views. How many are they doing? And they also don't work it into a year. There used to be 6 pay-per-views a year. You were talking about Randy and before the Ultimate Fighter. There used to be 6 pay-per-views a year. 5 more in Japan on a good year with Pride. Now they're doing, for sure, 1 a month, but it's equaling out to more like 15 a month, 53 shows a year. And I'm just talking the UFC. I don't know if Coker's jumping back into pay-per-view. I think that he is going to. He just loves the TV rating model so much and the sponsorship model and the live gate model. I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't know that those numbers that we can really cling to those. I keep hearing the sport's down, the pay-per-view's down. I keep hearing that. But when I watch, that building is full, and that is a microcosm of the bigger picture. I think I make a fair point to say, do we really know?
I'm going to say you win this point. I'm going to say no, we do not really know.
We don't really know. All right. I see you got something else. Are we going to talk some NCAAs? I hope you get into that.
You know one thing I love about... He just read that. Oh no, you've got the readers.
Yeah, one thing I will tell you that I really appreciate when you do, you come to my show, but you have notes. That is so helpful.
Well,
could you imagine? That's not your job. That is over and above. And I do appreciate that you do that. Because we kind of shoot at the hip here. Jacob and I will even be down here, and Jacob's always got his computer, but we'll be surfing in case something pops up. We want to be topical and be able to
you and Jake
announce it to the fans.
What you and Jacob are doing when I'm not around. I mean, would you? That's not even. I mean, wow. Talk about an insensitive remark. I love it when it's me and Jacob are up here.
I'm just saying, I want to pay you a compliment because
you.
I do appreciate when you show up with notes. It's a cool thing. I've never been a guest on anyone's show who showed up with notes. My job for me.
Can I share something with
helpful.
you?
Go ahead.
In one of these talking points, I forget what we're talking about 3 different times.
Which is why you need notes.
Yes. Yeah. You remember when I used to look at the TV all the time? Yeah. I was just hoping I could think of something to say out of my face.
Phone used to ring in here, and you would answer it. Hey, it's Joel. Can I call you back?
All right. Listen, I'm going to give you a compliment now.
All right.
But it has nothing to do with the fact that you gave me a compliment. But what you did earlier was beautiful. You insulted me twice while saying Trina gets mad when you doesn't insult me. That was brilliant. It was beautiful, and I get that. I love that. He called me the 2 names, the baboon and a buffoon. He might have thrown another one in there. Anyway, I love that. But okay, NCAA wrestling, they've been doing a very, very, very good job for the last 7 or 8 years. ESPN's covering it, and if you're all hooked up, you can watch every single match. You mentioned to me that you would love to be out there calling that somewhere. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, because one of the worst things about it is the guys are a little bit 81 to 92. Okay, they're a little bit backed up. And one of the biggest guys that they have is Billy Baldwin. And man, I like what ESPN's done. And Maddie Sprague made a point to it the other day. But Billy Baldwin was one of the first actors of any significance to get behind the NCAA wrestling. And he's been with them for, the entire time they've kind of brought it up. But man, it's time to bring in some new blood, and you are that new blood. You would be fantastic anywhere they put you, because it's becoming a spectacle. It's becoming a spectacle. And if we can get that tournament, we get the NCAA tournament during March Madness, filling, 17, they're doing 17,000 per session. Man, I think we can bring this sport to where some eyes will get on it.
Thank God for ESPN, and they really threw their arms around it. What was it, about 2009? About 2009, 2008, but where they were covering every session. And then this year they made a full commitment. They even put out a press release. We are going to cover every single match, period. And they did. Now, you had to know where to go. They put it through many of their platforms. It wasn't just straight ESPN. Some was ESPNU, some was ESPN3. I have the app, so I was able to surf around and just click one link. See any match that you wanted. I hope, boy, do I hope that they did good ratings so that they do it again next year and they do it again the next year. But it has turned into quite a show, and they've even ESPN has single-handedly forced the NCAA to pick up their game. I mean, they are now dimming the lights and putting the pyro in the spotlight and bringing the guys out and having music. I mean, ESPN has told them, we'll go ahead and do this, but you need to turn this show into a show. And I really thought it was a spectacular one. I love the NCAAs every year, and I do have a short-term memory. But, boy, Joel, I want to tell you this was the best I'd ever seen. For a finals, at least. Wow.
Let me tell you why. And I agree with you 100%. Because we didn't know who was going to win those matches.
Yeah.
Generally, if there's 8 matches in the NCAA finals, I don't know if that is the number, but let's just say it is, you'll know 6 of them. There might be one upset. But going in when you could pick one winner, which was Zane, and you might have said, you know what, Imar's going to get him. Wow. 2 true freshmen win the title. Zahid Valencia comes back, and it was such a fantastic event. Before the show, you and I were talking about who was the outstanding wrestler. I forgot all about Zahid beating Mark Hall because all of the other matches we were talking about.
Yeah, I loved it. I will tell you, there was only 10 weight classes, but to your point of, you always know who's going to win. You tend to watch them anyway. There's just really no surprises, which takes away from the fun. You like to have a surprise, and we got those this year. But there was 2 matches where I did know who was going to win. I knew Zane was going to win, and I knew Imar was going to win. Well, it turns out I didn't know, did I? Right? Because Imar ended up getting upset. He lost to a guy that he beat 2 weeks ago. Lost handily to a guy that he beat handily 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man, that was such a bad... the turning point in that match wasn't the takedown. It was the 2 at the end of the period. When
he snatched him back. I couldn't believe it.
God, and he gave up the 2, and then now you're down 4-0, which is a mountain. When he's better in the one position you want to get to because he's tossed you in that exact same position 2 times in a row. I will tell you this, and I want to give Ben Askren some love after I beat him up a little bit. So Barry Davis is out at Wisconsin.
Yep.
And that information came out right, you actually told me right before the NCAAs. ESPN went and thanked Barry Davis, and Barry Davis was like, why are you thanking me? And they said, because you were the only one that would talk to us when we start. That's how far the ESPN coverage has came, because they said you're the only coach who would even talk to us back then. And if you could imagine, if you know the wrestling mindset of any national tournament, everybody leave me alone. I don't care. All I'm here is to get my guys on the medal stand. And that culture has changed. So with that said, is Ben going to get that job?
I believe if they could get Ben, they take Ben. I don't know where his head is at. I don't think if Ben Askren comes to the table and says, I will take the helm of a program, that you say anything other than, great, thank you, sign here. I don't know. I haven't straight up asked him, so I don't know. But I will tell you this, which I thought was bad form, is Wisconsin sent a delegation to the NCAAs. Makes sense. All the coaches are here, and they take wrestling real serious. It's a Big Ten program and a top program in the country forever, right, for my lifetime, until just recently, which is why they've made the change. And they sent a delegation out, and they were talking to as many coaches as they possibly could. But then they released what coaches they were talking to, which, boy, is that tough on a coach to then go back home and have his team and his administration go, heard you interviewed with the Wisconsin delegation. I thought that was a little bit of a surprise. I wish they would have done it a little bit more quietly. But, I mean, they're looking at the who's who, and that, they're ready to spin.
Man, let me tell you why I'd love it to be Ben, is it would be good for wrestling because you've got a guy that was an Olympic team member, one of the best NCAA wrestlers, goes to mixed martial arts and has a great career, and then comes back to amateur wrestling. He did it while he was still competing. He's got some huge club in Wisconsin, some huge kids club in Wisconsin. That would be good for wrestling. Bringing somebody back, bringing somebody from MMA back. So then you've got a guy that has been successful on both sides of the fence saying, hey man, this is our sport, guys. The fighting thing, that's cool and everything. That's awesome. You get to be famous. You get to make some money. But our sport, the one that we love, is wrestling. And I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. I really hope that happens. I really do. But I don't want to put any pressure on Ben. I know he's got a lot of interest. But, yeah, he's a wrestler. And he's a winner. He's a winner, period. I asked Jake Herbert that question. And Jake Herbert didn't even pause. He goes, Ben Askren. I go, well, do you think Ben would do it? He goes, well, they need to get him to do it. They got to talk him into it. The guy's a winner at everything he does. That guy's never failed. He'll take that program. He'll put his heart into it like he does everything else, and they'll be the new champions.
Well, he's already got the feeder system right there.
Yeah.
He's got the club right there.
Jake just said it so matter of fact because that guy's never failed at anything. Of course you grab Ben Askren. So, yeah, but does Ben want to do it? Does Ben want to do it? Do you have inside scoop? And he's like, well, no, but he's in Wisconsin. So, okay. So I think there's some good choices, and I do really respect Wisconsin a lot. I really respect their AD and the fact that he does take it so serious. We don't have a lot of that in wrestling. We don't have a lot of administrations that are behind it. We'll fully fund it. We'll go out, put search committees together, bring in the best of the best. The AD at Wisconsin 100% will do that and bring in the right guy. And, man, if they could persuade him, I'm speaking a little out of turn. Maybe it's not that hard to persuade him, but it would take a little bit. I don't think Ben is going to just barge in there and say, drop to his knees and say, what do I need to do? Give me a shot at this. I don't think it'll be that way. I think that they're going to need to say, Ben, please consider this, and here's why, and here's what we'll do. But I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. They're going to have some great candidates. You also saw, Joel, what happened with Michigan.
Yeah, McFarland.
Yeah.
Retire after 19 years. And I'm like, who retires after 19 years?
Yeah, McFarland stepped down. What a great job he's done. He was somewhere before he was Michigan, and now I can't think of the school, but he did a great job there, too. Took him like a 14-0 dual meet season in his first year out there. Very good coach. Very good job. That one is not being discussed. That's a major program. They just finished 4th in the country, and you want to talk about a fully funded program, right? They do 101,000 people to every home football game. Are you aware of that, Michigan? So they've got all sorts of money out there, and that's not being discussed. That seems very clear that the administration is saying, everybody, don't waste your time.
Who's got that job?
Sean Bourmet.
Okay, good.
It should. I mean, obviously should. That's why they brought him in. But he did do it, I'll remind you, the same way, well, as Ben Askren. Sean left college wrestling and went and started a kids program called Overtime. It ended up being, they won the Nationals. Both styles. It was like the most successful program in kids wrestling. You could not get in. There was a waiting list to get in, if you could even imagine, for a club team. And Michigan kind of goes, hey, wait a minute. We bring you in, you get us your guys? Well, yeah, of course. Okay, let's do that. And Ben would have the same thing. Hey, wait a minute. We get you, are you telling me you've got a recruiting pot right now? Yeah, of course. It's my team. Of course, they're going to want to follow me. Oh, okay. Let's do that.
You know the best NCAA wrestling coach for my money?
Tell me.
Chris Bono.
Okay. I wouldn't disagree.
And when he had All-Americans at Tennessee Chattanooga. Tennessee Chattanooga, as soon as he got there. Now he comes out to South Dakota State. He gets a national champion and some other All-Americans. All-American, it's a tough thing to get. That tournament is a buzzsaw. Iowa State wasn't even in the finals. How long before Iowa State goes and grabs up their boy?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I don't think that's going to happen just because they rolled the carpet out for Dresser and they're going to give him a minute. I would agree with you that Bono is the belle of the ball with one other offering, and I do think it comes down to two, and that is Pat Popolizio. I think the best coach in the country right now is between Popolizio and Bono. But I'll tell you what, Sean Bourbett's going to throw his hat in that ring. It's going to be a three-way dance once he gets the helm. He's a special coach too, but there is no question for Popolizio to turn around North Carolina State. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Turned it around in no time, flat.
Dude, did you see that, Caleb?
And then what Bono did at South Dakota State. These just aren't programs that you have administrations with the same. They're changing that. Those guys have changed the administration to going, okay, wait a second. Let's take a look here at wrestling. Very rare, very hard thing to do, and a special thing.
Yeah, this week is always depressing for me because it's another year until that tournament. I never realize how much I love that tournament until it's over. And I'm like, oh, man, it's over. Another congratulations. All your boys are now in Bellator. You got Ryan and Jake.
Yep.
So Ryan Walker just got a contract with Bellator. You got Jake.
Yep, got Sunshine too.
You got Sunshine. You
Tyree.
got Tyree. I promised Jake I would, Jake's coaching Lad up on Sundays.
Yep.
And Lad loves it. I love it. And Jake takes it really serious. I got kicked out of the practice on Sunday, and I should have.
He booted you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I booted myself because he was getting after, Lad. If Lad thinks he's in trouble, he just start doing push-ups. And Jake's like, no, you do what I tell you to do. And I had just said something. I was just gone. But I promised Jake I would rough up Ryan Walker if I came on this show.
For what?
Okay. So the trip we had out, which was about a year ago, where I took Reese and Jake and Ryan out to San Jose for the Bellator event. And we had the ride from
ride from hell
on the way back. Apparently, Ryan had bet Jake $300 that he would, within the year, swim Alcatraz. And not only didn't he do it, Ryan copped to, hey, I didn't do it. I lost the bet, and you can pry the $300 from my cold, dead hands. So here's what I offer up, because you know this. These two guys, when Ryan Walker and Jake spar, it's a fist fight. Now, they do it over nothing. They just do it at practice. I say, whoever wins the next 5-minute round that they spar at gets the $300.
I guess. I mean, it sounds like Ryan owes him $300.
100%. And he admits it. He admits it. I even made a post calling him Ryan the Welcher Walker, and then I was like, "No, that's bad. I'm deleting it." And Ryan was like, "Why'd you take that off?" And I was
There's got to be a story there. Ryan's a man of honor. If he owes $300, he'll pay the $300.
No, he's not paying. I lost the bet. I don't pay.
I think next time Ryan sees him, he pays him $100. I'm glad you said that, though. I thought you were going to say that they should fight in Bellator. I thought that's what you're going to say. Since they fight all the time anyway, and I don't want anything to do with that. I want to watch it. I have no part of it.
Well, I asked Jake about that, and Jake said, yeah, I don't fight teammates, but right now he's not my teammate, which is really cool because he wants his buddy back. Like, you bitch about, like, your buddy leaves you, and he's like, yeah, I don't miss him, I hate his guts. And then, they're making man love on Twitter this week. So He said he won't fight him as long as he's his teammate, but right now he's not his teammate. And my question is to you, Ryan the Welcher Walker. We know why he went to Vegas. He went to Vegas to chase that tail, okay? And the tail is he went to Vegas to chase a D. Okay? He didn't go to Vegas to chase an A. He didn't go to Vegas to chase even a C. He went to chase a D, and he couldn't even get the D. So he's in Vegas chasing his tail for a D. Can't get the D. Man, you fail. Come on home, brother. Come back. Quit growing your stupid hair out. Come on back home, Ryan the Welcher Walker.
Could we please get off this? There is no part of anything you just said that I want to touch. Please tell me you have somewhere else to steer this.
I'm out. I'm out of bullets, brother. I'm out of bullets. You got another read, and I think the hay's in the barn.
Okay.
I can always pick on these guys.
No, that's quite all right. I'll give you and everybody some advice. If you're looking to buy a car, Joel, your car business, how many years? 30?
Oh, God, 1 million.
If you're looking to buy a car, then you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but do you know what it actually means? The same goes for invoice, list price, dealer's price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Let me introduce you to True Price, only from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you're going to pay for a car, including the fees and the accessories, before you even go to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars, like the one you want, all from the comfort of your home. And right now, you're going to know if the true price is a great price, because TrueCar is going to show you what others paid for the same car that you want. And your certified dealer knows this, so they're going to set their true price competitively so they can win your business. That's pretty straightforward. So when you're ready to buy, new or just new to you, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. Does anybody have anything they would like to get off their chest? Jacob? Oh, here we go.
No, I don't.
Jacob, you better goddamn well not. I'll tell you that.
I've been trained well. You
literally had to turn your mic on, adjust the headset to come on and say, "No, I don't." That's funny.
You know, Jacob, you take a good bullying. You do.
Thanks.
I mean, the next time I come, I'm going to threaten your life again. But we have him. We have the new guy, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan the intern.
Yeah, I can cut a bit on Dylan, but you got to get in with me. So if you get in with me, then well, yeah, but that's how you turn this thing around. If you came out hot one time, man, you could spin the whole vernacular. You could spin everything they're talking about. You could be like, kill Jacob. They literally told me to kill you, to murder you, and I wouldn't do that. So if you were like, I'll kill the Godfather ain't shit, and hit me with that thing, I wouldn't press charges. I would be like, man, good job. America needs more dudes getting hit in the head with camera and just going home because they deserved it.
You know what I think I would do? Actually?
Shut up.
No, listen to this.
Tell him.
I'd walk in here and your horse's head would be laying on the table. That's what would have to happen.
Oh, like the Godfather?
Yep.
Okay. All right, see, that might...
That's a start.
That might get you.
That's a start.
That might get you over.
All right, well, this show has been about nothing today.
Isn't it always about nothing?
It's headed more down that road now. So why don't we follow the Mark Twain, which is when in a hole, quit digging, and call it for Joel and Jacob. I'm Chael. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening. Until next Wednesday, you're welcome.
Baby. Deuces.
Hey, let's do one real fast. We were all